All right, welcome back to Cricket for Americans. Nick here.
Gabe, the Night Watchman.
And you know, Gabe, people may not know this. People may have forgotten this. You may have forgotten this. I may have forgotten this. But I'm actually a fan of England cricket, and it's good to be a fan right now. The Barmy Army, they'll never get me into their club, and that's okay. But even they are happy, and they may not beat me to a bloody pulp if they see me on the streets. That's because England has now won the first 2 of 3 test matches against New Zealand in England. I get it. It's in England. That's where they win. But this team, after that Ashes, I mean, they were like this on the ropes. Luckily, they played a West Indies. That kind of helped them out. But they were like this, a little shaky on the ropes. And I'm sorry. I know. Biggs, I get it. Rennell, I get it. You know, Don Antonio, I know. I get it. All right. I'm sorry about that. But they've won the first 2 test matches against New Zealand. We're going to talk about it just a little bit. We're going to have another one of those cricket combos. Snuck it in there. And right just a few minutes. We didn't watch the match. I didn't watch a single ball of this match. But we're going to just talk about what this means to us, what it means for cricket, what are some of the bigger performances, that kind of stuff. If you're excited for that, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Let us know what you want. Please communicate with us. We want to start the conversation. Communicate in the chat. What do you think contributed to these first 2 wins, especially the most recent win where England won by 5 wickets? Gabe, how are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. In yourself, my friend. You know,
better than you.
And I know you're gonna right away. You're gonna say, "Listen, of course, it's Gabe, his bias." But what contributed to the wins? One Mr. Ben Stokes being smart enough to throw his dogs out there. Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad, go take those wickets, cousin. You know what I mean? Like, listen, that's honestly, Nick, that's what lost you, in my opinion, after the Ashes. That's what lost Joe Root his captaincy, okay? When you don't throw a legend like Jimmy Anderson out there, and I mean, these are 2 of the, listen, Jimmy Anderson's a living legend, all right? He's the all-time leading wicket taker for England. And Stuart Broad is right behind him. These guys combined have over 1,100 wickets. And you sat them down? That just told you that all you needed to know. Joe Root was more concerned with the control in the locker room, and Joe Root was more control, that power struggle than anything else. Because, dude, they combined in this game for 10 wickets. All right? Nick, that's half of the wickets, all right? First inning, Jimmy Anderson got himself what was it? A 3-wicket haul. Stuart Broad got 2 wickets.
3, and then he got 2 in the second inning. Same thing. Flip-flop for Stuart Anderson.
Exactly, bro. You've got to take those wickets. Bottom line, you got to take those wickets. And for 2 of the best that have ever done it, for them not to be in at the same time, all this resting nonsense that they were talking about, or the one game in the Ashes, I forget which one it was, where neither of them played, there's just no explain. There's no what's the word, Nick? There's no justification other than what we all know, that it was just personal reasons, right? Ben Stokes has got to be able to get over himself. Not Ben Stokes, sorry. Joe Root had to be able to get over himself, and he didn't do that, right? So they were so huge in this first match. Let's talk about the first match. Jimmy Anderson, a 4-wicket haul there. All right, Stuart Broad in the first innings got himself a wicket. That's, again, 5 wickets. These guys are some of your most consistent bowlers, and to not throw them out there, it's blasphemous, all right? In the second innings, again, combined for 5 wickets, 2 for Anderson, 3 for Broad. Don't talk to me about their especially Stuart Broad. Stuart Broad is about, 4 years or 3-4 years older than Jimmy Anderson. But stop talking about rest and all that other garbage.
Anderson's older. Yeah, Anderson's older by a few years.
Yeah. Jimmy Anderson's older than Stuart Broad. Did I misspeak there? But okay. What it come down to, Nick? It comes down to bowling. It comes down to taking those wickets, all right? And being able to restrict the opposition. In that first, and I get it, it was Lords, but in that first test match, man, they bowled New Zealand out in the first innings for 132, Nick. 132. Bowled them out in the second innings for 285. I mean, again, it's masterful bowling, and it starts with 2 of the legends. Bottom line, I know you're going to talk about some of the performances, and I'll let you talk about the batting performances from that perspective. But I think that's all you need to know. Now on the New Zealand side, listen, Tim Southey's been getting hot, cousin. He's been getting hot. Bo is like, can I get a little bit of help? Bolt had like a 6-wicket haul, I think it was, or 5-wicket haul. Bolt's doing all the heavy lifting, but you got to be able to take wickets, and they're kind of starting to look like my West Indies, where they can put up runs because they put up 500 runs in that first innings. But if you can't stop the opposition and you're also giving up 500 runs, you're in trouble. You got to be able to take those wickets, and that's what New Zealand is not doing. Nicholas, talk to me, my friend. What are your thoughts?
Well, just talk about the bowling real quick. Matty Potts, right? He got a 7-wicket haul in the first match in, I think it was the second innings, one of those innings.
Forgot about him.
And he's got himself a few more wickets, I think 3 total in the second match. And the thing that surprises me is they're doing this without Chris Stokes, the greatest of all time, right? He's got some niggles. He's out for a little bit. But to be honest, even a fan like me, they haven't needed him. They have not needed him. Matty Potts has fit in quite nicely as that basically your third pacer behind Anderson and Broad, someone to give him some relief, if you will, or whatnot. Jack Leach has got himself a few wickets. The name I love, though, because it's so fitting on the New Zealand side, is Bracewell, right? Bracewell got himself, let's see, he got himself 3 wickets to help out Bolt, who took 5 of them for crying out loud in the first innings and 0 in the second innings. But, I mean, his name said it all for the New Zealand team. They had to brace very well for this attack that was coming at them with those 500 runs. So, you know, I absolutely love that. Talking about
unfortunately, that is our mandatory pun, guys. For those that are new to the channel, Nick cannot he cannot resist a pun. Let me tell you,
it's just dangling right there.
Obligatory pun.
Listen, it's Ozjad said he was listening to our stream when I got excited about the Oman pun, and he said I could see it in your eyes, Nick. I knew it was coming. I mean, I can't help myself. I really can't. But as far as the batting goes, you had obviously a lot of runs. When you have over 1,000, almost 1,100 runs in the first innings combined, you know you're going to score some runs. You're talking about, 1,600 runs total in this match? I mean, that is just a whole lot of gloriousness right there. That's a whole lot of beating up on those bowlers, baby. 5 centuries. 5 centuries in all. Joe Root really showed up. Daryl Mitchell almost had another double ton right there. I think he's had one earlier in his career, not too long ago. Joe Root came close to a double century as well. But Bairstow, out of the 5 centuries that were by Root and Pope, Jihan was in our chat saying, man, Pope learned how to hold a bat again. Mitchell and Blundell. And, hey, Blundell got that 145. He didn't put a blunder in there, right? He really showed up. My lights are dying on me, so, the light is different, but that's okay. I'm going to keep going. I have 2 lights out of my 5 that have gone out. But Jonny Bairstow, Gabe, let me know how this tastes. If it's a little salty, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't feel good in your mouth, like vinegar or something like that. But Bolt, now he did get caught by Blundell, so that was his blunder. But Bairstow, strike rate of almost 150 in a test match? In a test match? Oh, he was testing some patience right there. Almost 150 strike rate, the only century to go over 100 strike rate. And this guy's like, are you kidding me right now? This is how I play. I mean, isn't he and Pont so similar in so many different ways, right? In so many ways. I love it. He's the player of the match right here. Why, Gabe? Because we love the runs. We love the runs. Who cares about the other stuff that happened there? He got a strike rate of almost 150. He had the most 6s than anyone else's single performance in this match. I think Daryl Mitchell had 4 at one time. Stokes had 4 in one of his innings. And that's all well and good. But man alive, in that chase, when they won by 5 wickets, like you said, New Zealand obviously was bowled out. This is a test. You get bowled out before you move on. To see Bairstow just go out there and just score so quickly, maybe a little too quickly, because it still took Bairstow and folks, a little bit of runs. Let's see. Bairstow, actually, he went out last. So this is, and I'm not going to edit this out. You can make fun of me. I don't care. He was there. He was the last wicket to fall, right? So he was there to help out with Stokes and get that. So there wasn't really much needed after that. I'm assuming it's a glorious thing. Gabe, can you let us know what it feels like when Bairstow achieves that Bairstow level?
It feels like I want to throw up in my mouth a little bit, Nick, just to be honest with you. It feels like I want to throw up in my mouth a little bit. Oh my gosh. Oh, Bairstow. And those of you that have been watching the channel for a while know that I've got Bairstow's on my Sinister 6, okay? We've got a love-hate relationship because I think he's got
I'm still waiting for the love.
I think he's got all the talent in the world, but he's so undisciplined and it drives me crazy. And when I root for him, he does poorly. When I don't root for him, he's he's part of the mob squad. So, congratulations to one Jonny Bairstow. I will tell you that I think that, he belongs on the test side. There's no questions about it. He belongs on the test side. Those are people who say he was a white ball player, along with myself, were wrong because he's got the talent. He absolutely has the talent. Nick, what I do want to talk about, all right, and this is just from reading box scores or whatnot. I want to talk about an issue that not even the great Ben Stokes has been able to resolve for England, and that's the England opening situation, where England, for the love of Pete, man, Zach Crowley. This is going back, by the way, all the way to the West Indies, series. Zach Crowley has gone out for less than double digits in 4, I want to say, of the 6 matches, and took 2 ducks in that, I believe, in that West Indies. Here, he might as well have taken 2 ducks. I think he got 4-1, 0-0. Zach Crowley's absolutely atrocious. He is not an opener. Going back I'm telling you, going back 2 series, Zach Crowley's not the answer. Now, if you remember the Ashes, Burns isn't the answer either. Alex Lees has held his own. So I'm not gonna harp too much on him. He'll survive the new ball and give his team a chance. But Zach Crowley has just been terrible, Nick. And it's just, how long are they gonna stick with him? I mean, I get it. He's the guy that replaced Burns, right? But he still want the answer. He's still not the answer. So they've got to go back to the drawing board, go see who they got down there, in the wings, who's waiting in the wings. Let us know in the comments who else is out there, because go back and do the math. Look through the last 2 test matches. I mean, or test series, I should say. He's got, in the first innings against the West Indies, in the, second test match, he had a duck. In the second innings, he ended up getting 40. That was his one good match. Then in the third test match against the West Indies, 8 and a duck. Yeah, I mean, guys, it's we've already seen what's happened in this. Is that an opener? Let me know in the comments. Are you satisfied with those performances? Does Zach Crowley deserve to open up for England? I'll wait. And remember, they lost that series because they drew the first the first 2 test matches. All right. And I get it. People are going to say, oh, they were in the West Indies, all right, I get it. But Zach Crowley does not, I mean, come on. He's not done enough to solidify that spot. And I think that we have to have that conversation, Nick, I think, in that very first match of I was thinking about, of the test series, he got that 121. So in 3 test matches in the West Indies and 2 so far here, he's got 1 ton, he's got 3 ducks, and a whole bunch of single digits. Is that enough? Nick, you tell me. Is that enough?
Well, his century was a ton of help to his team.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
When you're talking about Crowley, all I can picture is Dr. Blasphemer. With the reactions. No, you're absolutely right, because we've talked about so many times in every format, if you have a bad opening partnership or a bad opener or whatever, it really slows things down. Case in point, India finally won a match against South Africa, and it's in India right now. Why? Because both your openers had half centuries or close to half centuries or something like that. Surprise, surprise, right? You have your opening partnership. It's the most important duo in all of cricket, in my opinion. I know you're going to say the bowling pair. That's fine. But in my opinion, and it sets the tone. And there was no tone set, for crying out loud. So, I mean, it is what it is. But you're absolutely right there. Things are of concern. But, where do you go, right? You can't go to Alex Hales, because even though Joe Root's not the captain anymore, and I'm not sure if he was an opener, but he got in that fight with Ben Stokes, who's the captain. So, I mean, there's not any chance of him. Third light went down right now. That's crazy. But you make a great point. I know for England fans, the fact that they're at home, we've won a few matches. We've won against New Zealand, where England is comparable-ish, to New Zealand conditions. So it's nothing, this is where New Zealand beat India for the WTC last year. The fact that you've beat New Zealand, they had a different captain, I'm not sure what's going on with King Williamson right there in this match, it really bodes well for England. And the way that they bounced back, the way that they fought back in both matches, they matched or came really close to the first inning score of New Zealand. I believe New Zealand took the bat the first time in both these matches. Both times England has chased, and they have chased and won. They've got to be feeling good about themselves. Like you said, Lees, been a good revelation there. Maybe they can go back to some others that play better in England. I don't know.
Better not say Burns out.
I said I agree with you, Burns. Like that didn't work out too well, but he had averaged really high scores. I'm trying to think. I can't think of the guy's name. Who was the guy that was opening for him in the Ashes with the longer hair? Maybe that you want to go back to him. I can't think of his name. I'm sorry. I know I'm an England fan. I'm an embarrassment. Let us know in the comment section. But we just want to talk about this because this was a big deal. England was able to win back-to-back test matches against New Zealand. India went in there last year, I believe it was, and took 2 out of the 3. They're going to have to make up that fourth or fifth one, whatever it is. But this is a big deal for England. Get back on the schneid, do good things, get great batting performances. It does not just have to be Joe Root, even though he was a monster once again in this match. And, you feel good about yourself if you're an England fan. Absolutely.
Are you talking about Roy? You're not talking about Roy, are you?
No, it's not Admani or something like that. What was the kid's name?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember his name. Yeah. I know who you're talking about now. Good for England. They were in a bad place. And I mean, sometimes a team becomes stagnant and things have to change. You saw that with, of course, the sacking, right, of the head coach. And, I think once Root was out of captaincy and Silverman was out, now we're in a position where it's time to revamp the team, revamp the strategy, revamp the approach. And it's boded well for them, right? It's boded well for them again. I think, Nick, that there's still some work to be done because, to your point, they didn't bode that well in the West Indies, drew 2 matches, lost the 3rd, but they're at home. And these are favorable conditions. Can they win in India? Can they win? I think they have a trip upcoming to, is it Bangladesh? I know they got to go to the subcontinent. But can they win away from home, basically, right? And away from those favorable conditions? We don't know. And that's what is going to take in order to prove that Ben Stokes is captaincy material. They've got, I'm looking ahead at their schedule. Yeah. Woo!
Yeah, they got a makeup game match with India.
They've got India.
They actually got, and then they already finished up New Zealand by that time. Then they're going to the Netherlands. And the player I was trying to think of was Hasib Hamid.
Hamid. Yes, Hamid. Right. So, yeah, they got to go to the Netherlands. Then they got India, subcontinent. They're gonna have it. We're talking just tests, right? There's some ODIs mixed in between there. They've got South Africa coming to England. That's in July. That's there's test matches there as well, or is that just ODI and T20s? I'm looking ahead. Nope. It's that actually starts in August. But so they get to play, and then there we go again. Australia. So England will have to tour Australia down in October. So we'll see. I mean, the reality is they're going to give Ben Stokes some rope, right? Because there's nobody to go to. So no matter what the results are, there's nobody to go to right now. And Ben Stokes, for better or worse, will get, in my opinion, at least a year to prove if he's the right guy to captain this ship.
Yeah, I mean, this is really interesting, this schedule, because they're going to the Netherlands for 3 ODIs, and then they come back and they play New Zealand in the 3rd test, and then they play India and England to make up that 5th test. So it's a very interesting schedule. I'm wondering why they're separating the tour with New Zealand. Maybe New Zealand had some other things. That was the best they can do. Who knows? But it bodes well for them to be successful in the next several matches. I'm nothing against Netherlands, but, it's England's typically at a different level, so we'll see how that works out. But I'll be excited to see Netherlands play them and to get to know some better players. Let us know what your thoughts are, what your impressions are of this match, of this win. Big deal, not a big deal at all. Were they just expected to beat New Zealand and all this kind of stuff? Let us know all that stuff. Please get in there. Let us know what you think. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.
We know all things.